As we all know that fossil fuel emission being the highest emitter and which drives a combustion-led economy and is very extractivist. And so it destroys land, it destroys ocean, water, and ultimately it displaces communities, destroys their livelihood. And also Global North is responsible for 92% of excess emission. As we all know, most of it comes from the fossil fuel. And so the brunt of this impact, the climate change, rising temperatures, and the calamities that we are seeing, weather extremes, typhoon, flood, drought, heavy rains, are borne by the southern communities, especially those who are heavily dependent on land and also water, river, ocean resources. And so the tipping point is very close. Some regions have crossed increase of 1 degree, and beyond 1.5, we will see irreversible changes in the climate with huge impacts on frontline communities, forests, biodiversity, and agriculture. Unfortunately, nothing has happened. Bloomberg clearly reported that ESG is not moving towards structural changes in the industry. So one thing is that, like, Asian Development Bank or some of the funders have just pledged to phase out or not to fund any more new expansion project in the fossil fuel sector. But there are investments continuing. So it starts from the point of taking into consideration the historical emissions of the global north, that the global north NDC's commitment to the phase out of fossil fuel, and next comes adequate and suitable climate finance, and then coupled with technology transfer. So the technology transfer should enable and facilitate a process where the global south can equip themselves with clean, reliable, renewable, and affordable energy. There are a lot of peoples and communities which have been historically linked to this combustion-led economy. They need a just transition to bring in a kind of a equitable, democratic, structure. And that's where we need the climate finance, the technology, the recognitions of rights, the recognition of gender, and specifically in the land sector. It's very important that whatever extractivism that we are seeing has a huge implication on the land sector, the forest communities, the farmers and peasants, and rights and access to land. And then the workers come in, the workers who are associated with the combustion-led economy. Where will they go? How will their job be protected or they be deployed in the new sector? And these should be the principles and focal points where we should actually rally for equity and equitable and just transition from a fossil fuel combustion-led economy to a much more equitable, democratic structure, which depends primarily on clean, reliable, and affordable energy. So I think in COP27, we need to put the slogan of equitable and just transition in front. And that should encapsulate all the other demands that follows through from it. We also need to mobilize outside the multilateral spaces where the communities and people are much more powerful than what we are seeing in COP nowadays, where the corporates have completely captured the global climate policy and the negotiation.